Good afternoon. Welcome back to United TV. Latest Manchester United news, latest news on Lewis Hall stories and Miles Lewis-Skelly stories. Different things coming out from Arsenal that we heard yesterday from Manchester United and Chelsea sources that are putting things into the media. And we're seeing a lot of stories now. We've got David Ornstein, we've got Fabrizio, we've got national newspapers in the UK. So lots of information about Lewis Hall. And a lot of this comes down from a lot of people, and this is like somebody Luckhurst as well writing, and a lot of people are saying the same sort of thing that Lewis Hall would like to move to Manchester United. At this point in time, though, this doesn't mean that a deal's going to happen because it might be very much the same as Carlos Baleba wanted to be a Manchester United player a year ago, and he's still playing for Brighton. So Lewis Hall might well want to move to Manchester United. Is he going to submit a transfer request, which has been suggested in newspapers and sources today saying that he will do that? The question mark is always going to remain, though, is for Lewis Hall to become a Manchester United player. Manchester United are going to have to seriously open the checkbook. They're going to have to seriously put a lot of money on the table for this deal to happen. So it might be that it might be 100% true, and it might be that the player does want to move, which is obviously one of the criteria for Manchester United to sign a player. If he wants to come to Manchester United, that's obviously going to be a good thing. But Manchester United are still going to have to spend a significant amount of money. Lewis Hall is under contract until 2029. So at the moment, all the power lies with Newcastle, and it remains to be seen whether Man United are going to be ambitious in this transfer window. And Jeff says Amazon cameras rolling now. It's the time to splash. So cynical fans among us, and there are quite a few, will look at it and say, Amazon documentary, is this the timing? I would say for Man United fans that have watched Manchester United for years, this is nothing new in the transfer window. The transfer window is it's very rarely rapid and well organised for Manchester United. I think quite a few of us, though, for reasons maybe looking at last year's transfer window, I think a lot of us actually had higher expectations. And I think when people are disappointed about the window, I think for what my reason is that my disappointment lies from, has this transfer window been planned well? And for me, a well planned transfer window, you'd be getting your targets in a bit earlier and you'd be negotiating a bit quicker, and you'd be giving Michael Carrick, whoever's in charge in future years, you're giving them the best possible platform to having a good preseason and to kickstart the Premier League season on the front foot. That's kind of what I would be looking at from a good transfer window. A bad transfer window for me would be if we do a panic buy and spend what is considered a ridiculous transfer towards the end of the window, then that's obviously going to be something we've done lots of times, and it would be a bit of a disappointment if that happens again, considering we're supposedly got football people in charge. We're expecting a better performance in the window than we have seen in, like, say, years gone by. So, again, there is a poll in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and please get your comments in. We will try and use a lot of comments like we do most live streams, try and get everybody's opinion said in the chat. But what I would say is just take a couple of seconds, just click on whether you think Man United will sign Lewis Hall. Because at this point in time, I think a lot of people were thinking that Ederson was going to happen from Atalanta. But when we talked about Anderson from Forest, most people have been saying, right, I think he's going to go to Man City. So the polls are usually a good idea of what's going to happen. But again, this is one where if I had to guess, the issue is not whether Lewis Hall wants Manchester United. It's not whether Man United want to get Lewis Hall in. It's a question mark of Newcastle have sold a lot of football players this window. A lot of money has come into Newcastle United. They're not going to be forced to sell for a price that's going to be like anywhere near low or anywhere near a moderate price, probably. They're going to be going for the best possible price. So for me, Man United will have to spend big to get this player in. That's why I'm thinking, for me, I'm not sure it's going to be happening. Um, so Almac says, have you ever been happy with our transfer business? And yes, I was, Almac. Say not yesterday. Last season, Manchester United got Lamans in. We got Cunha, we got Mbeumo, we got Benjamin Sesko. I was very happy with that transfer business. Okay, some people said they thought we overpaid. I think Cunha was an excellent signing. I think Mbeumo has been a big upgrade to what we had. Lamans was an excellent signing, and I think Benjamin Sesko will be even better this season. So I was happy with those deals last season. I just wanted more. Like I just wanted more players coming in. Like getting good signings in is one thing, but you just need to get a lot more. And if you look at our team now, like Yardi's saying, look at our team. I think we got a lot of good attacking players into the team last season. And Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko, like they all got 10 goals, didn't they, as a minimum? So if you look at how many goals we scored way more goals. So in terms of a transfer window, I was actually quite happy with last year's transfer window. The only thing that would have made it a really good transfer window would have been if we'd got a midfield player in. So I think it was pretty good, but I think at the moment that fans are going to have different views, aren't they? Al, I think in terms of where we were, moving on from Rasmus, Garnacho, Sancho to getting Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko was a huge upgrade. But again, it doesn't mean that it ends there. That's kind of like phase one for me of a rebuild. Big up to you, Helgi, my man. I'm looking forward to the post-match stream tonight, Helgi, and I've got another special guest that's going to come on as well. So we're going to do a call-in show with lots of guests, hopefully. And so I don't know why we would spend £70 million on Lewis Hall when we can buy, say, 12-year-old from exactly random thing. This is one where I'm looking at it and thinking there are a lot of stories linking Manchester United to cheaper signings. And if you had to ask me, what do I think is the most likely? You got Lewis Hall. He's probably going to cost is he going to cost £60 million, £70 million? I mean, the higher the price, probably the less likely it's going to happen. And if you look at Lewis Hall, okay, right, how much is it going to cost? And if you look at the left back for, I think, Racing Santander in, say, just been promoted to La Liga, he's available for about 16 million. You've got other left backs that are a bit cheaper as well. You've got Robinson, who's cheaper but older. And if I had to guess, I'd just say, based on like some of the signings we made, I would be surprised if Man United spend that sort of money on Lewis Hall. Like if we had that sort of money, then surely we go for Matheus Fernandes if he's our top midfield target. Surely we're a bit more aggressive in terms of like putting an offer on the table for Alex Scott or maybe another midfielder. So I mean, I would say at this point in time, we haven't signed a player that's cost over 70 this window. I don't think we would. The only reason I can, probably the only thing I can see happening regarding this one is if Lewis Hall submits a transfer request and does try and force his way out of Newcastle United, will Man United put an offer on the table that's big enough? And I know a lot of people are saying they think it's going to be 65, £70 million. It depends. Like, what if Newcastle identify a replacement and go, right, actually, 60 gets the deal done. We can make a nice profit as well. So, one thing I did see this morning, I'm not sure the source, but I think there was like a journalist saying they think that Newcastle are actually now looking for a left back. So again, there may be something in this. Like there may be that Newcastle again. We don't know how much they want. If they want 70, I think it's like no chance it's happening. If it's 60, then I don't know. I mean, Cucurella cost £60 million a few years ago. United spent 50 on Wan-Bissaka. It just feels like the only way I could see it happening is if Man United think, right, Lewis Hall is the only option, is the best option by miles, and in which case we go for him as well. So I'll go for a few of the comments. Big up to you, Bilal and Jim. Hope you're good. Vril says, I prefer our crap stadium and local derbies. Game stopped for 20 minutes because a player lost his wedding ring. So I would say with this drill, then yeah, grassroots football is going to be obviously. I think a lot of people I speak to actually in real life have been put off by some of the top flight football because of different reasons. Gray says we'll get that young left back from Santander, cheap release clause which Ineos love. Yeah, £16 million. If we got that player in, and I can't remember actually his name now. Was it Salinas? If we get that player in, Grace, for me, that suggests that Man United are going to keep Luke Shaw for another couple of years. Like we're going to get a player in that's effectively going to be a backup to Luke Shaw. I think that's why when we start talking about Lewis Hall, and I've got a quote here from Ornstein. I think you'd have to like double check where Ornstein said this and to check it's true. But apparently Ornstein is saying that Lewis Hall is willing to try and ask for a move, try and force his way out of the club. And this is also, I don't know if these are genuine quotes because you look at them on social media, but again, we're seeing quotes attributed to Fabrizio Romano saying exactly the same thing, saying reportedly he's ready to push for a move to Manchester United. it'd be interesting to get Newcastle fans' take on this. I'm guessing with this one that Manchester United are not genuinely putting a lot of information out there. So when I see loads of stories regarding Lewis Hall, there is a chance that if Lewis Hall does want to leave, and someone in the comments actually said he's training alone. So I think most of the genuine, believable sources in the media they tend to come from like agents trying to move their players on, and maybe with this one, like there is definitely going to be a lot of change at Newcastle United. Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? It's no, it's impossible to say whether Newcastle are going to be better. I can't imagine losing Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Gordon, and maybe Lewis Hall is going to make you a better football team. You're going to have lots of money to spend, but you're going to have to like reconstruct your team, so that's going to take a while as well. It's going to, for me, Newcastle will probably be better the second half of the season, but it's going to be a massive change for them, isn't it? So yeah, yeah. No, I think Anton Deck. I don't know what if anyone speaks to any Newcastle fans though. What do they think though? Would they be happy for Lewis Hall to go for big money? Because Newcastle, they've got the wealthiest owners in the league by a distance. They have not been able to spend a lot of money there, have they? So, yeah, Newcastle United, wealthy owners, and we have seen information that Jeff Bezos looking to buy into Liverpool. So Liverpool might be a very wealthy team, but at the moment, yeah, at the moment, it doesn't mean they can actually put that money into the playing squad, does it? As well. Big up to you, Danny. So, as I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you're thinking regarding this one, and please vote because at the end of the stream we'll look at the vote and see what percentage of people think this deal will actually happen. At the moment, because it's Man United, because of what we've seen over the last couple of seasons, I'm going to say, if I had to guess, I'd say I can't see this happening. If it did happen, I would be genuinely surprised in a good way that something's actually happening. Tyrone says if Hall does not end up at Manchester United after a transfer request, this shows that they don't want to spend. I mean, exactly. I think when you're looking at Elliot Anderson moving to Man City, it gives you like a perfect excuse not to sign him, doesn't it? Like a perfect excuse. If, because you can say, right, he didn't want Man United. And I think with the situation regarding Matheus Fernandes as well, I got the impression that Man United really wanted Fernandes, and we got pretty close. We were leading the negotiation, and it looked a bit like in the end we decided, okay, we don't want to spend that sort of money. So I think based on this situation, then Matheus Fernandes, if you believe like some of the sources, I think Sully Talks and a couple of other sources said that Man United made an offer of actually the same money but some of it was add-on. So it might be that Man United were willing to put down 70 plus million for Matheus Fernandes, maybe even like 75 plus add-ons. So the money is there. So if Manchester United don't buy Lewis Hall and Lewis Hall has, like Tyrone says, put in a transfer request, it would be a bit of a strange one. That would be pretty weird. So we'd have to see regarding this one. Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Football, like financial rules, keep changing. You have the squad cost ratio, you have like FFP, etc., and the rules between Premier League and European leagues are different as well. So, in terms of Jeff Bezos, is he going to hit the wall a little bit like Newcastle had? I think with this one, as long as Liverpool stay in the Champions League, there's no reason why Liverpool can't spend the maximum amount as well. So I'd say the turnover for Liverpool is going to be up there with Man City and Manchester United, isn't it? It's going to be pretty close. So I don't. There's no doubt though. With an ambitious owner, then Liverpool could be like one of the more formidable teams in the Premier League. And if Man City play by the rules, like big ask, I know, then maybe Liverpool could be spending exactly the same amount. So it's going to be a bit frustrating. So Lewis Hall request Manchester United transfer. I think with this one, Yarley, that in terms of like the British press that I've been looking at, then a lot of the sources are saying that he's going to in the future. So I don't think he's put in a transfer request yet. I think if he did put in a transfer request, then that would be massive news, and I think everybody would have that. Everybody would be covering that story 100%. So I think in terms of this one, I would say, yeah, look at this one as well. And Cody just sent me. I'll just check this one out. But there's another source as well saying the same thing, and this is today as well. So a lot of this is like this is probably in terms of like whether this is credible or not. I'd say it's kind of breaking information where lots of people are putting out the same thing and saying that he's going to be, putting in a transfer request. And this is one where you're going to have to see whether this is accurate information. This is kind of so we're looking at articles that are posted within the last sort of 20, 30 minutes on some of the cases as well. But in terms of this one, they're saying at the moment, Luke Shaw is only recognised senior left back in the squad for Manchester United. So obviously we need to strengthen. Newcastle keep saying the same thing that they do not want to sell him. And that's why people think this is going to be, it's only going to come to fruition if Manchester United actually spend quite big. And the fact that he's under contract for 3 years, that's why I'm saying as a Man United fan, I don't think this is likely to happen. But you never know. You never know regarding this one. Again, Torrens saying, yeah, it does seem to be that where there's money, people are looking to try and make profit. The issue with this one's going to be though, if you've got like five billionaires all buying into Premier League clubs, only one of them is going to be successful. And to be honest, they can't be really doing it to make money. That despite the amount of money that's coming in the Premier League, the player transfers are getting more expensive. So all those sort of things happening. Almac says Lewis Hall won't put in a transfer request. He can't show his face in Newcastle if the deal falls through. It is a bit of a weird one, Al. I remember talking to a few Newcastle content creators and a lot of Newcastle fans regarding Bruno Guimaraes, and a lot of people said that this is like two different players now, Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali. And a lot of people said Tonali got supported by the club despite his gambling ban, and they backed him. He then obviously played for Newcastle United, so they said they don't think he's going to force to move out because he owes Newcastle United because they supported him, but he's gone. And Bruno Guimaraes, they talked about him saying that he's the heartbeat of Newcastle United. They don't think he's going to leave. He's gone. So all I'm saying is that it's very, very difficult to predict. But lots of people that are trying to predict are saying that Newcastle fans are saying these players aren't going to leave, and they just keep going. So we were told at the start of the window by a couple of people that only one player is going to be going. And if Tonali goes, or Bruno Guimaraes goes, or Gordon goes, other players won't leave. And we're just seeing they're all leaving, aren't we? So maybe this is an indication that, and when people are talking about Lewis Hall, the criteria they give is he wants to find the next step in his career. He wants to play for a better football team. And we can argue about which is the best team, but clearly Manchester United finished in third, able to spend more there with crap owners. And you've got Newcastle United, very wealthy owners, but they're pretty much tied by the rules. And if I was Lewis Hall, I'd be looking at it thinking, right, Tonali's gone, Bruno Guimaraes is gone, Gordon's gone, you had Isak leaving, and the players coming in, they've hardly been an upgrade. So they haven't been an upgrade on Isak, and I'm not sure they're going to be an upgrade on Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. They've got a lot of money in, so they can spend quite big. The problem is going to be is you get 100, you get 75 for I think Bruno Guimaraes, you get 70 for Gordon. All the players you want to buy to replace them, they're all going to cost more anyway. So Newcastle United might be doing something similar to last year. They might be spending quite big on players. They spent a lot on Alanga, a lot on Wissa. So I don't know. There's no guarantee it's a good thing. If I was a Newcastle United fan, I'd be a bit worried. I'd be a bit concerned with what's happening regarding my team because these are first team players, aren't they? They're not squad options. Giannis says the more I'm seeing is that Lewis Hall is requesting a transfer now. This is going down the road Bruno Guimaraes did. This is why I'm saying that as people that know me, that have watched the channel for a while, and I tried to just comment on the news. I'm not trying to predict the future because I thought Edison was going to be a Man United player. I never for a minute thought Tielemans was going to be a player until about 2 hours before suddenly it went crazy and then it happened very rapidly. So, no, I don't think I'm going to be guessing or predicting this one accurately. But at the moment, all I'm saying is if I did a stream saying it's definitely not going to happen, I would probably be the only person saying that at the moment. So maybe this is spin and maybe it's a bit of hype, but it just seems that, well, when you're looking for information and you can't find anything else apart from Lewis Hall wants Man United, it's almost like someone's had a big meeting everywhere. Every journalist has got into the same room and gone, right, guys, we're just going to spam the internet with Lewis Hall wants Man United. I don't even know what does Lewis Hall want a new contract at Newcastle? He's got 3 years left on his deal. I don't see that as being a motivation for this one. I would say his agent might well be looking to move him on because there's profit in that. And it might be that Lewis Hall wants to play for the Champions League team, which is credible as well. Big Dog says more Americans taking over football will be the downfall of the Premier League and say they'll destroy the history of English football, move it nationwide like a Super League for money. To be honest, like we talked about the Super League on Red Devil United probably about 4 to 5 years ago when that was being talked about. And I think where there's money, there's always going to be someone trying to do something which we don't like. Just look at Infantino looking to try and bring in like investors into the World Cup, but you do see like people react and try and stop it. So I think this is gonna. I think there's always going to be a threat to the game and how we perceive it, and there's always going to be people that try and stop that happening. But again, I think this is going to be an ongoing thing, isn't it? So the Super League thing is something that's going to be discussed. I know almost like every year, isn't it? Because the Champions League gets bigger, the World Cup gets bigger. I would say bigger, not necessarily better, is the issue here for a lot of people. Just Rob Always United as well. Big up to you. I know you know a few Newcastle fans. I might message a couple I know as well and see what people are thinking regarding this one as well. Helgi's saying, in your size, it's old, basically retirement. And I think with this one, that Ineos's criteria about buying younger players, as a general rule, I don't mind going for players that are say, but when I say younger, I'm thinking about like Man City's transfer policy. You get players at like 22, 23, and those sort of players you want to be getting in are players like Boadi, that again, he's younger, but he's got a lot of experience at the top level. And players like Elliot Anderson, players like Alex Scott, players a bit like Adam Wharton, for example. And these are the sort of players that have obviously proved they're good at international level, top flight Premier League level for a couple of years, and you look at them going, right, they're going to be, they're going to be, going on to the next stage in their career, and that's the sort of players you want to get. But I think if you're looking at maybe, now maybe potentially if you're looking at trying to get players in at age 30, yeah, you need some experience, but you don't need loads of experience. Like you need a few experienced players. But yeah, I would say with this one, if you're trying to guess the policy, then like with Helgi saying that if you're trying to guess the policy of Manchester United, it's going to be erratic, isn't it? And I think with the media these days and United, if they want to buy a player that's 29, they'll just buy a player that's 29. If they don't want to buy a player that's 27, they'll just say he's too old. It doesn't make any sense, but that's just unfortunately that's the way it is as well. What is it? Maybe with Manchester United maybe the strategy should be right. We're not going to buy a player that's 27 unless they're like 35 million, and maybe that's it. Like we wanted Edison from Atalanta. Again, for me, also, I don't really mind about the age of a player. Like if a player's 29, like look at this, like a 29-year-old Paul Scholes or a 29-year-old Ryan Giggs, you got those players for like 5 to 10 years, haven't you? So, like for me, but if you looked at someone like Mason Mount, how old is Mason Mount? I honestly don't know. But there's certain players where you think, right, they could be 23. I still wouldn't sign them because they can barely play like 3 games in a row, and they certainly aren't putting in 90 minutes in those games either. So I would look at it. I would look at injury issues more than I do at the age of the player. So the fact that Ineos are going all in for Wharton is a disgrace. Do you think they're going to go all in for Wharton though? Like, because I do see a few people talking about Wharton. Do you think with Wharton, he's going to cost like maybe like 85, 90, 95? He's going to be very expensive. Can you see Man United going very big on Wharton? I remember like about 2 years ago, or maybe 18 months ago, and most of the credible sources were saying we think that we think that Man United are going to be looking at Baliba and Wharton. Okay, And we thought Belieber would be a player United sign. Maybe they still do. Like maybe they do. The issue is going to be Brighton have always wanted probably too much money for any one of their players. To be honest, I think every single player that Brighton have sold has never really been worth the money they paid. I mean, Cucurella's a good player, but did Chelsea get a lot of value out of him? I don't. Caicedo, a good player, but again, crazy money. So if it so, sorry, you're saying the fact that Ineos are not going in for him is a disgrace. So if that's the one you're talking about, then do you remember when we were talking about Wharton? Probably like with Adam Wharton, we were talking about him when he was a Blackburn player in the chat of Red Devil United, and we were saying like he's coming from Blackburn. I think he might be on the cusp of playing for England, and we were going like get him then. And like with Lewis Hall, I'll say this: if I'm in charge of the budget, I'd probably go for Lewis Hall. But I know he's quite expensive. I'd have probably tried to get him a bit before this window, maybe like a year ago. But you look at him and think he might cost a lot of money, but it would mean that Man United don't have to worry about the left back for another 5 years. At this point in time, I think there's other options available. I'd have probably gone for Robinson about 3 years ago as well. I'd have probably tried to get Tillemans about 3 years ago, but those days have gone, unfortunately. The question mark's going to be now is do we go for we've seen the deals that Man United have done so far in the window. We've kind of done the easy deals. We got Tillemans in, we got Santos in, we've got the guy from Spurs who I keep forgetting his name. It looks like we might look at Page from Leicester. I think Page from Leicester would be pretty much an indication that maybe Man United look at Harry Mass and think he's not going to make it. Like, I think Harry Mass has looked decent on loan. Is he going to be good enough for Man United? I don't know. It's difficult to say whether he's going to be good enough unless he gets a run of games in like proper competitions, like give him games in the Champions League, FA Cup, Premier League, see how he does. But it looks like Man United want to keep Luke Shaw, and it's like they want to get a player in to replace Harry Mass. So if we're looking at getting Page from Leicester City, for me, that's an indication that a Mass is gone and Luke Shaw stays. Like you're not going to get an academy player in to replace Luke Shaw, and it could be the same sort of deal as Aiden Heaven, where Page doesn't do much in the first year, maybe in the second year gets some opportunities, and then maybe gets sold in a couple of years' time. We're in the same situation. So for me, I don't think the Page signing should be any sort of replacement for getting a proper left back into the club. Cheers, Gaz. Yeah, Thompson. Um, I mean, if someone asked me about Thompson, I have no idea. Is Thompson going to play first team games for Man United next season? Is he going to be disappearing into the academy for a couple of years? We just don't know. I hopefully, hopefully it's like an Aiden Heaven, and maybe Thompson actually looks good. It's really difficult, isn't it? We might see Thompson on the pitch and go, actually, we saw Lacey and thought, okay, Lacey, there's something there, potential. Yeah, not too far removed from the first few games Dorgu played, where you think, okay, bit raw, but yeah, there's something there. So possibly a good deal, but again, I don't think you can't do 10 of those deals and and say right, that's fine. You've got to get some players that are good enough. Is Harry Mass strong enough to play in the Premier League? Um, I would say when I saw him playing in the Premier League, it might have been under Ruben Amorim, and it might have been against. I'm trying to think who it was. He didn't look strong enough when he was playing then. I'm trying to think of other examples where who was it that was trying to mark Anderson when Anderson put a cross in. I don't know if I'm thinking of games where Malacia's played, but no, I would say at the moment, no idea, like absolutely no idea. That's why I'm saying with Harry Mass, you need to give him, you need to give him like sensible football games, don't you? Like loaning him out tells you that it helps him develop, but it doesn't tell you if he's good enough for Manchester United, does it? So I get that the only worry I've got with Harry Mass is, are Man United selling him 1 year too soon? Like, and we have done that with a few other players. Is this going to be an issue regarding this one as well? And so Gaz says, no, I think with this one, if you're looking at Lewis Hall, the reason why I think you might be addressing someone else in the chat, but yeah, no, Lewis Hall comes in and for me benches Luke Shaw. That's what I'll be thinking. So if you're going to go for, that's what I was saying. If you're going to go for the left back in Spain, or you're going to go for another cheaper option, or you're going to go for Robinson, for example, those cheaper options are going to be a backup to Luke Shaw. So effectively, we've got Luke Shaw. The benefit is when Luke Shaw's injured, which will happen, we've got credible options on the bench. We've got some good backups to Luke Shaw. But if you bring in Lewis Hall, for me, that improves our first team. Like bringing Robinson in doesn't improve our first team because I think Carrick will still start Luke Shaw. I think bringing in Hall, the reason why I'm probably more positive about this than other deals is because it improves our first team. Like the other deals we're talking about in left back, at the moment, I'd say next season that just means our bench is a bit better. Or if Luke Shaw's injured, we've got a better option. But I think when we start talking about Lewis Hall, it pushes our team forward, improves our first team, and for me, that's another building block towards what we want to achieve as a football club, isn't it? It's something we should be looking to do. Big up to you, Jeff. Thank you so much for the super chat. Say, just listening to the rest of the stream, driving to job sites now, and say, have a great day, Rich. Keep reading out the chat. And Mass is strong enough now, bulked up a lot this off season, and that'll be something to look out for. But big up to you, Jeff. Have a great rest of your day. Also, make sure you come in on the calling show tonight, Jeff. Be great to get your views on. Hopefully, we're talking about beating dirty Leeds. I mean, that's what we want to talk about as football fans. I don't really want to sit here and moan about lack of like transfer business or talk about things we've done. I want to beat Leeds. Big up to all boxed up United. So I think you're a Leeds fan. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking? So do you know what I would say? Manchester United fans in the UK. I'm assuming you're a Leeds United fan in the UK as well. I'm pretty sure you're a Leeds fan from what I can remember. But big up to you. Manchester United versus Leeds. This is like a proper game. So we have been talking about transfers, and with Leeds United, I know a few Leeds United fans in real life and proper football team. The hate is real. I'll say that. I kind of like with City fans, you can have some banter. With Leeds fans, I mean, it gets a bit more serious. The Leeds fans I've met in real life, anyway. And I think Manchester United Leeds. It's going to be a good one because pre-season is usually a friendly, and usually it doesn't mean anything. And I think with this one, it's got it's got to mean something, isn't it? But what are your thoughts regarding that one as well? But for people wanting to know about the game is 7:30 kickoff. If you're in the UK, then it's available on I think it's sure it's ITV, so it's free to air, which I don't think is something that normally happens with pre-season. But I haven't really been following Leeds United pre-season for obvious reasons. That I don't know what they've been doing. But no, this is that one where obviously for Man United fans it means something. I know pre-season is not amazing, but a lot of time. But yeah, boxed up. I'll just say to you, thank you for supporting the channel. As always, like rival fans are welcome. I do say this, but again, we are. I'm going to be a bit biased towards Manchester United. Obviously, I still think it's going to be a tough game though, because like the Leeds defeat last season. Let's be honest, it still stings a bit for Man United fans. It wasn't a great performance by us, and it was a difficult one to watch. But no, maybe that's going to be a good one. I'd say, yeah, Science, he got promoted though, didn't he? He got promoted. He got promoted. But yeah, question for like Leeds fans, if there are Leeds fans in the chat, apart from Boxed Up, is what are you expecting from the game and what are you hoping from the game as well? How do you say if it's one thing I wish our fans would realise is how few injuries it takes for us to really struggle this season. And so it may look okay now, but we are a sure Sesko Tielemans injury away from chaos. I would say for Man United at the moment, then it might be it might be what's the word? I think with this one, it might be that if you like pick key players, I think Arsenal have lost. Arsenal are going to be starting the season without Saliba. So as a Man United fan, obviously, I wish Arsenal nothing but problems next season. I don't wish players to be injured though, and I'm kind of interested to see how Arsenal cope with that because I think Saliba is a key player. And if Manchester United, for example, if we got Harry Maguire injured based on our centre back situation, we'd have problems. If Lammers got injured, we'd be reliant on the Leeds goalkeeper we just bought, and I don't know how good he is. So that would be a difficult situation as well. All Boxed Up says, I know many Leeds fans have historic stuff with United. That's yeah. To be honest, this sounds a bit of a weird thing to say, but when I grew up, Liverpool fans. I know so many Liverpool fans in real life, and I know so many Arsenal fans in real life, and we just talk about football, and yeah, we get on fine. I think social media can generate a bit more toxic atmosphere. But when I've met Leeds fans in real life, I don't dislike like they take it a bit more seriously. But one thing I did say about Leeds, and I'll just go back to the transfer story in a second, is when Leeds were in the languishing in, say, the Championship, it's a bit like, say, when Man City were in the Championship, okay, we're not playing them. And there's certain teams I want to see in the Premier League that have got good fan bases, like Newcastle United. I want to see them in the Premier League because they're a well supported club. I want to see Leeds United because of the rivalry. I want to see Sunderland because of the fan base as well. I want to see Forest as well, historically a good team, and Villa. So those are like five teams that have been relegated in recent years. It's good to see them actually all back in the Premier League because they're the sort of games you look forward to, and they've got some good fan bases, and I know a lot of the fans in real life as well for all those teams. So let's go back to the news story and get some people's opinion on this one as well. Dabas says you're going to watch the game on MUTV. I don't know. Funding the Glazers, Dabas is very naughty of you. Um, so RK says Raz is toxic, must be like I think we're not even talking about Rashford. We're not even talking about Rashford. I think with Marcus Rashford, let's be honest. I'll say this, and this is all I'm going to say on the subject today, unless he plays tonight, in which case we will talk about it in the stream tonight. Is Manchester United? I'm pretty sure they want to sell Rashford, and at the moment there's no offers coming in. Then what are they going to do? Like all they can do is, I think with Marcus Rashford, all that Manchester United can do is there's no point putting out negative stuff because Manchester United want to sell him. Then if Man United want to sell Marcus Rashford, then playing preseason games, banging in goals, or starting the season and scoring goals, that's probably the best way, isn't it? Though I think in terms of this one, if they're going to loan him out, maybe they'll do that. But I don't know. I don't think there's too much we can say about this. But yeah, no, we will be live at about as when the game finishes, we're going to be live then. So it is a call-in show, and myself, Helgi, and another special guest will be hosting that one as well. So it should be a good one. But I will say this: it's not very common for rival fans to come on, but you're more than welcome. Every fan is welcome to come on. So all boxed up. If you want to come on the channel, and if you're happy coming on YouTube, then please do so because it'd be good to get your opinion as well. I do know one or two Leeds content creators, but I haven't spoken to them for a little while, so I don't know if they'll be available tonight. But what we try and do is we'll try and give a forum for everyone to come on, have your say on the match, and yeah, maybe there'll be a bit more stories to talk about as well. No, usually we do watch longs on the channel, but I think our host at the moment, the person that's doing lots of watch longs, Mr. G Wolf, is having a bit of a break as well. Tyrone, you'll have to come on as well. You'll have to come on because we did get people watched the calling show we did after the last match. Then Jules' son came on with Jules, and he was actually a pretty good guest as well. So yeah, the more the merrier, Tyrone. If you want to come on, have a couple of minutes to have your say, then please do that. If anyone's got any transfer questions though, regarding Lewis Hall, do you think we're going to see like is something going to happen in the next few days? We know that in terms of like this sort of thing happening, I would say if you want to try and guess whether this is going to happen, and if you want to guess whether Manchester United are going to sign Lewis Hall, I would say have a look what Newcastle are doing in the transfer window. That if you're a Newcastle fan or you follow Newcastle content creators or you watch other channels, where they're discussing like more general football content as well. When Man United were looking at Mbeumo, we saw definitely there was a couple of players that I can't remember exactly who it was now, but Brentford bought a few players in to replace Mbeumo, or maybe not necessarily directly replace him, but they bought some players in ready for when Mbeumo left. And if you see Newcastle United, they're going to be doing a lot of deals to replace other players in the squad. If they start being linked to left backs and you start seeing like credible options, because I think Newcastle, they've got the money, haven't they? They're not going to waste too much time. And if anything, it might be wise for them to actually buy a left back in before they get Lewis Hall sold, if that does actually happen. So I would say if you think this is going to happen, that's probably the thing to look at. Don't look at Man United for information because we won't be giving too much information, I'm sure. I mean, fans will try if they can, but there's not going to be a lot of information coming out from the club. But if Newcastle are taking action, then maybe that'll start suggesting that they're open to a sale at a price Man United want to pay for. So what I'm saying is, I still think it's a bit unlikely because of our owners, but yeah, you never know. You never know. Big up to you, Helgi. I will speak to you tonight. Obviously, Gaz. Obviously, no, Gaz. Also, open invite to everybody as well. If you want to come on the channel tonight, as long as it would be as long as I know who you are, then you're welcome on. But I think in light of what happened with Saeed, we're probably being a bit stricter in terms of like so if people turn up with random names and we don't know, then yeah, it might be a bit trickier to get you on as well. Cody says they're already linked to a left back, and this is why I've been saying this a few times as well. Is that I can't remember the source, Cody, but I am seeing Newcastle linked to at least one left back quite recently. So it's fairly recently. And in terms of Man United's media and sources, all they keep saying is Man United like Lewis Hall. And at this point in time, if nothing happens with this one, I think it's just going to be more frustration for Man United fans. And again, I don't want to take say regarding this one as well. I'm not going to say that it's going to happen. I just think it's going to be, yeah, yeah. In other words, yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, RK says, do you think how much do you think United have got to spend now after Vitek and Bindia sales? So in terms of like money coming in, then Vitek was supposed to be. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think Vitek was he 14, 15 million, something like that. And if you look at the buy and deer is like about 10 quid. No, I think what was buy and deer sold for, I can't remember now. Was it 2 or 3 million? It's not huge money, but you'd say that's between the two of them is like close-ish to 20. And then if you look at the money coming in, I think the Rasmus money coming in is significant. Like Rasmus is like 36 million pounds coming in. So if you look at those deals, then that's like say what 36, 50 million pounds for that, maybe like 52 3 million pounds of player sales so far. So actually not too bad on the player sales. So if you look at Manchester United spending 50 million pounds on Santos and Tillemans was 35, at the moment our net spend is probably about 35 million. We spent I think maybe 1 to 2 million on the guy whose name I forgot from Spurs again, but yeah, I can't remember what his name was. No, we don't have we don't have troublesome calling people, but I think we're just saying that obviously Said is a big content creator in the Man United kind of sphere, and he had someone come on that yeah did some things that he shouldn't be doing on certainly not this sort of channel. Um, Diff, RK, you're asking a tough question there. Is Amas good enough at left back to cover Shaw? Um, Short answer, I don't know. I do not know if Harry and Mass. I think Harry Mass needs to again. Michael Carrick, coaches, people that work with Harry and Mass day in day out for years. They're going to know what level he's at, and they're going to know if he's ready. If Harry Mass gets sold, all I can assume is that they don't think he's ready now, or they don't think he's got the potential. And I think as a fan, I need to see Harry Mass playing before I can even make a judgment call. Like if Harry Mass plays, I can let you know what I think. Leon, I don't think is that close. I think Leon is. considered like at least another year or so away. So Leon was like almost like an investment buy. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be. I don't think we're going to see much of Leon. I think, to be honest, in all certainty, I think Harry Mass is going to get sold. That's what it seems to be. But I think a lot of people are saying like, give Harry Mass a chance. Like, give him a few games in, like, say the League Cup. Give him a couple of starts. Maybe give him a few games and then make a judgment call. But maybe Man United, maybe the loan deals are just there to try and get him sold. I don't know. But no, it is difficult. All I can say is when I've seen like Thwaites, he looks pretty good. When I've seen as an example, I've seen Lacey. I think Lacey looks like he's going to be someone that's good enough. So in terms of like, is the mass good enough? I'm not sure. But I think Lacey is. I think Lacey looks like he's got potential. Still pretty raw, and I'm guessing that he's still going to take a bit of time. What we might see with Lacey is I think with someone like Lacey, I'm expecting to see more positives on the ball than off the ball. I think like positionally and other things, it might take him a bit longer to be effective, but I think he's definitely going to be potentially a breakout. I think people that watch the weights say potentially he would be a breakout as well. I think with Harry and Mass, I don't know, it's going to be quite tough to see. Yeah, to be honest, I think yeah, you could say this as well though. Like Manchester United are one injury away from an issue. I think maybe you could say right, centre backs have already got issues there. Fullbacks, I think one injury we can kind of cope with. If Sesko gets injured, we're probably playing like Cunha or Mbeumo up front. If Jallo gets injured, we got cover. If Dog gets injured, I would say like one injury we're probably okay. If you take two or three injuries, like serious injuries, then we got an issue. In the same way that Arsenal got Saliba injured, if you injured Hoyland, sorry, Haaland, not Hoyland. If you injured Haaland at City, there's a big drop off. And I think if you look at most teams, if you take out the two or three best players, they're going to have an issue. I think with Manchester United, we just get to that stage a bit quicker, don't we? Like we have problems a bit sooner than other teams as well. Lacey looks impressive actually as well. Just to say as well, I think the Fletcher brothers, then I don't think they're the most likely to step up from academy. I'd say that maybe with Fletcher brothers, like you're looking at loan deals for those players. Yeah, if Man United are putting them in the first team, I, there's no way like Tillemans, Santos, Kobe Mainu, potentially a third signing maybe, or someone like Thwaites. You've got other options in there, so I would be surprised if they're going to be getting too many games. And I say, Greg says, thing with a mass, he's 19. If he was at another club, we'd never be looking to buy him. So I think he needs to go. I think with the issue with a mass that makes it more difficult is, as Danny B in the comments, or someone sometimes saying that I think with a mass, he's got what 1 year left on his deal. So with this one is like, yeah, 1 year left on his deal. What do you do? Do you extend the deal? Like, do you look at trying to sell him? And I think maybe what we're going to see with a mass, I think we're going to see the same thing we see with lots of other things. We're going to see him get sold, like Bindier, like I'm trying to think, like Greenwood. And what we're going to see is we're going to see significant clauses in that contract. So we're going to see, like with Vitek, you got a buyback, you got a sell on. And with a mass, maybe we're going to put like a decent sell on clause because he's not going to go for a lot of money, unfortunately, for some reason. But we'll put a decent sell on clause. We maybe put a buyback in and protect ourselves that way. So I think this is kind of the future for Man United. They're just going to be a lot of clauses in there. So Greg says get him gone. I think he's going to be gone. Like I do think he's going to be gone. So you're probably going to be happy with that one. Yanni says Tyler Fletcher will be with the first team. Then it depends. I think we're going to buy a left back, but I think the left back we buy might be to replace a Mass rather than Lewis Hall. Sorry, rather than Luke Shaw. That's what I think, Bilal. But if we don't buy another left back, then the issue is you've got to extend the contract, haven't you? You've got to extend You've got to extend the contract, which I think Man United are reluctant to do. Like they've been here before. Amas has got 1 year left. I don't think Man United are going to offer him like another like 2 or 3 year deal as well. Yeah, it's all about the clauses, isn't it? All about the clauses. So to go for some of the comments, why do we sell players for such small fees? Really good question. Do you know what the thing is? It's like with trying to think of like players that Man United have sold. Okay, Man United sold. Trying to think which players we sold recently. We sold Rasmus for an okay fee. I think the problem with Rasmus Højlund is we paid too much money for him. Maybe the deal to look out for this year might be Xerxes and to see how much money Man United can get for the Xerxes. But I think the problem is maybe is that the players Man United want to sell are usually like they the reason why we want to sell them is because they've not performed well. So there's going to be limited interest in the Premier League where most of the money is. I think with the academy players coming through, it is a bit of a surprise actually that Man United are not getting more money for some of these players. And maybe there's a few, maybe there's multiple reasons. Maybe one is going to be that players coming from Man United's academy, maybe there's a bit more hype because they're Manchester United, and maybe in the football world they're not considered as good as other players. Maybe also we're pretty poor regarding selling players. We have been for a long time, and some of the players we're selling as well. Sometimes we're getting cheap. We're what's the best way of putting it? For we just maybe we're selling them without developing them properly is probably the best way of putting it, like Gaz says. So maybe this one. This is just a guess as well. This is just a guess because you can never really tell how good an academy player is until you put them into the first team. One thing I would say is there's quite a lot of examples where I'm trying to think of who it was that I talked about. There's players like Morgan Rogers, and there's like 4 or 5 other players. There's lots of examples of very good players that went for very cheap money from lots of other academies. So I think with Manchester United, we look at it because it's our club and it affects us. But I think there's lots of examples from Manchester City, Liverpool, and actually maybe with Spurs recently. There's a lot of examples of a lot of academy players moving for quite low money over the last 5 years. So I can't remember where I saw it. If I ever find it again, I'll share it in the Discord. But it was an example of Man City, Chelsea, and players they've sold for peanuts over the years that have then gone on to big money moves. So it's not just Manchester United, but sometimes you see the eye catching ones, and City have like done some pretty good deals in the past, unfortunately. And yeah, I would say Arsenal haven't been great, have they? In terms of like when Manchester United got put it this way, when Man United got Aiden Heaven, we got a bargain. And if we got a bargain, Arsenal got properly done, didn't they? And if we then look at Manchester United and say, who else have we got? We got Santos for £50 million. Chelsea content creators had massive meltdowns. So I can only assume that we probably got a good deal there. We'll have to see. When we got Tielemans, we probably got a good deal, I think, in terms of the price. But no, I think with academy players, because of the way football is, if you can get players before they play and sign professional, like sort of first team contracts, you can get them for very cheap. And I think that's what Man United are doing. It's almost like we're trying to exploit a bit of a loophole here with like Aiden Heaven, Cheeto. I mean, if Cheeto never kicks a ball for Man United, he's literally cost us like £1 million. And Aiden Heaven, we could sell him for if you wanted to, yeah, huge, huge profit. The player we've got, Thompson, we got from Spurs. Remember the name that time. Thompson at Spurs. If he plays a couple of games for Man United, he'll also be a profitable situation as well. So I think the question is going to be that it's not about whether Thompson's a good signing or Heaven's a good signing or you know, only one in five has to work out for it to be sensible. So Man United will do all these sort of deals every single year. The question mark is going to be like, do we go for this? So big up to Sky, good to see you in the chat. And are we buying Hull? So short answer, the media are pushing a lot of spin, like a lot of spin. I know you were on so United Devil channel, we're trying to get the name right, earlier today, and JB was talking about spin and hype and all this sort of thing. And we got, I'll just quickly go through the sources that people didn't see. And again, this is the internet, so anyone with like suppose like a functioning brain can like set up a Twitter account, retweet stuff, share information, whether it's true or not. But in terms of this, the sources, David Ornstein being quoted as saying that Lewis Hall wants United, wants to put in a transfer request. That's one source. And this one with a bit of a cartoony picture is quoting Fabrizio Romano again. Did Fabrizio Romano say this? Does he have sources as well? He's quite often a mouthpiece for journalists, isn't he? So in terms of like Lewis Hall's agent, maybe Lewis Hall's agent wants to get Lewis Hall in the media, in which case Man United is a perfect club to talk about. But it seems that I mean a couple of people in the comments were trying to do a bit of research and trying to find whether or not there's truth in this one as well. And if something comes out and we have clear evidence, we're going to be doing a call-in show tonight at 9:30. So if there's any sort of like say fallout, or if there's any, what sometimes we see is if it's not going to happen, we might see aggressive media in the afternoon. We might see people going, "Oh, this is nonsense. He's happy with Newcastle, etc., etc." So if we see that, then we'll go, "Yeah, fair enough. Okay, it's more spin." If we don't see that, then maybe there's something in it. And I might message a couple of Newcastle content creators I know just to see what their take is, because usually they have decent sources, and it might be a way of finding out. But yeah, my guess is going to be Sky that I think I would love to sign Lewis Hall, and I'd love to sit here and say we're going to get Lewis Hall. But if my guess would be Ineos would find a cheaper alternative. If there's a cheaper alternative out there, I think we'll go for it. But I hope I'm wrong in this one. And as I said, like please vote in the chat. So we're going to close the poll in 30 seconds. If you want to vote on whether you think Lewis Hall is going to be a done deal, before I started the stream, Helgi messaged me saying I don't think this has got any chance of happening, and I said right, I'll do a poll. Let's just see what the percentage is, and then if more information comes out in a couple of days, we can revisit the poll, see what people think as well. So let's see. A bit to Tommy in the chat say Mbappe rumours are heating up, but apparently Liverpool have bid for him. I don't mind him actually. I think he's quite a good player. I think also people that love stats, he's playing for Everton, he's playing for Moyes. Like put him in a proper team that wants to play attacking football, and we might see a lot better stats from him. So I think when we played Everton, he looked like a massive problem, like running at us, progressing the ball, causing problems. I thought he was like a good player, but say yeah, Marks. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. I mean, if you're an attacking player and you play for Moyes, I mean, good luck getting lots of good stats. So um, let's see. So in terms of this, will United end up signing Lewis Hall? The live chat has spoken, and no say 78%, yes say 22%. So we still have some hope. We still have some people with hoping. If you think yes, let me know why. My reason for no is I don't see Man United spending that sort of money because if we had that sort of money to spend, I would have gone for like I'd have got Fernandez over the line if we wanted him. I'd have probably if I wanted Lewis Hall and I had 60 to 70 million pounds to spend, I'd put an offer in straight away before Gordon's gone, before Tonali and Gamara's are gone. I'd have put in a big offer at the start of the season. Binios, yeah, Binios. Maybe I need a custom emoji with like a bin, and I mean it could happen. It could happen. I might have scoped to make a couple more emojis. Binios. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Um, Binios. If you got any good suggestions though of emojis, I mean, I'm happy to do anything that makes it quite fun in the chat. I don't want things to be. I don't want to try and what's the word? I don't want to try and promote anger or toxicity as well though. So I don't want this. I want this to be like a fun environment as well. Um, but yeah, now just a quick question then. If you're in the chat and you voted yes and it's going to happen, let me know what your reasons are. I just want to read out a couple of reasons, a couple of comments why you think it's going to happen before that. And Big up to you, Nikki, in the chat. The Goldbridge emoji. Hey, look, I don't really want to I don't really want to rage bait. So, we're using Goldbridge emoji. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. That's not even easy to say, Bilal. Out Yoss. uh, I don't know. Suggestions, maybe suggestions. Just like leave me a comment or chat to me if you think there's something. Goldbridge emoji would be funny. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a poll on the channel. Maybe I'll put a poll and say like not on a live stream, but maybe like a members poll and say what would be Artios and the Binios. The other thing is that these are all good suggestions, but I don't know. I don't know. At the moment, the channel's pretty low key. I don't really want to gain what's the word publicity by just pissing off every other channel. That's not kind of our reason here. But yeah. I mean, I would say this one though. A lot of people agree with what he says. Uh, I could make a Scrooge emoji, so that applies quite. So Scrooge emoji with suit Ineos. Nikki, good suggestions. That you're kind of overestimating. I think you might be overestimating my capability with graphics. But again, I managed to do like an emoji for Ineos out, but that was pretty straightforward. But yeah. Yanni says that he's been upset ever since we sent Rasmus to Napoli. I think Rasmus to Napoli was actually quite good business, wasn't it? It was the first time Man United got like significant money in. Put it this way, if you like Rasmus Højlund, then a sale for Rasmus Højlund means he goes to go to like for a start, he gets to go to Napoli, and Italy's a nice place to live, nice food. Also, he plays in a softer league, and he's going to score more goals. I think it's good for Rasmus Højlund's career. So I think it was a good move for Rasmus. Man United get some money in. I don't honestly, I do not see any sort of, I don't see any issue regarding that one as well. Ineptios. Some of these things feel a bit like Greek leaders, like from like ancient civilization, like Ineptios, like leading like some sort of like Binios is Binios does feel a bit like the winner at the moment, doesn't it? It does seem like a good one. I don't know. You guys make me laugh. Binios. Okay. Yeah, so Tommy says 209 million of our 360 million transfer debt is due this year. I think that's why we're penny pinching this window. The other thing is that Manchester United has had debt on its books for so long, so long. I think you can restructure debt. I think you can restructure debt. Big up to you, Sam. I saw you on another channel earlier, Sam. I don't know what this guy was talking about, and I think he's just trying to make up things I'd said. But I think people that watch my channel, if someone thinks I'm raging about something, they must be watching somebody else. What's crazy is people wanted this United to stop overspending or overpaying for players. United do that. The same people complaining say change their minds and now think we should overpay or overspend. So I will say this. I was definitely one of the people that said I didn't want to overspend. But I think the difference is going to be if you buy Andy Cole for £7 million, and I'll have to stop myself in a second, so I might go off on one. If Man United spend, say, then what, £12 million on I think quite a young Cristiano Ronaldo. We spend £30 million on Rio Ferdinand, and these are big money. This is a lot of money. We spend 3 point whatever million pounds on Roy Keane. We spend trying to think like when we bought Brian Robson, it's a British transfer record. Rooney was like maybe a record for a teenager, wasn't he? Rio Ferdinand was a defensive record at the time. Those are really expensive signings, but they're top quality players. And I think Man United fans now are looking at the transfer window and going, we don't mind spending big if you get really good players in. Like if Man United had bought Elliot Anderson for 100 plus million, I think Man United fans would have been that's great. I think what we don't want to see is we don't want to see Elliot Anderson. We don't want to see a deal like like an Anthony deal. We don't want to see a Sancho deal where how can someone come in Sancho's age, Sancho's experience, and get 300k a week? Like that for me is like ridiculous. But I think at the moment that it's difficult, isn't it? Because there's some middle ground, isn't there, where I would probably look at it and say, yeah, it is that is Fergie era. The thing is, what you're saying is Manchester United spend a lot of money, but what I'm thinking is, in terms of transfer deals, I think last year, like for me, last got when Manchester United got Embuemo, Cunha, and Sesko, that was like perfect. They're not ridiculously expensive. They're not market value. So also big up to you, curlers. Um, yeah, I think I will say this. Yeah, most people wanted Sancho. That is fair, but I don't think people wanted Sancho. Like, why does Sancho get 350k a week or 300k a week? Like for me, that's wasn't sensible, was it? And in terms of Anthony, did most of us want Anthony? Like for whatever Anthony costs? I don't think we did want Anthony. I take your point, Sam. Like it's a sensible point. I think that what I would say, Sam, is your first comment today. I think what you're illustrating here is, and I think Modern Samurai said the same thing yesterday, that it doesn't matter what deals Man United do, somebody somewhere will find a reason to be angry about that deal. So if Man United sign, I don't know, a lot of different. You've been banned on here. I don't think you've been banned on here, have you? Yeah, yeah, we could have got Anthony. Yeah, exactly. I think with this one, if Manchester United signed, I don't know, any sort of player you can think of, somebody somewhere would not like it. When I say when I talked about Tonali, some people didn't like Tonali. When you talk about Wharton, some people don't want Wharton. If you talk about Elliot Anderson, some people will. No, there were a few people that would say that you can get better value in the market somewhere else. Edison was divisive. I think Tielemans seems to be actually quite divisive as well among some people saying he's too old, some people saying he's a really good signing, and Santos as well is divisive. So I think it's really, really difficult to find. It's really difficult to find any football player that everybody agrees on as well. No, good seeing the chat though, Curtis. Hope you're doing well as well. And for people watching, we will be doing a big calling show tonight as well. What do you get timed out for, the Sky? Big up to you, Ian says Hall is your number one choice as a long-term solution to Hall. Yeah, I think that the bad news, Ian, is that most people don't think this is going to happen as well. But yeah, I hope it does happen. Okay, okay. Well, you get timed out on that one. I think I've only been timed out a couple of times, but usually it's I think usually it's personal than anything I type. Um, Sam says I like it. You like not knowing what United will do. No, to us actually, if you remember when we were doing Red Devil United last year, one of the fun things on the channel was there was loads of information, and I think we made a lot of good calls and we got a lot of information on the channel correct. And this year, there I see loads of people just guessing what's going to happen, and that's why I think people look at the thumbnail, they look at the title, but usually it'll start with me saying, "I don't think this is going to happen," but this is what the journalists are saying as well. Kate's saying we all like different players. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Like, it's absolutely fine to like different players. That I don't get overly excited about defensive players. I'd say that I probably got a bit too enthusiastic about Cunha because like Cunha's got some traits and attributes that I really love, and I really love the way that he fights for the team. And but some people look at him and go, right, we just want goals from him. But no, people have different opinions, don't they, as well? I think the one thing that we do agree on, though, Cake, is that we need to get a Binyos emoji if Binyos don't sign some proper players. That's what we see as well. Yeah, Nikki, you're very well behaved and always welcome the channel. To be honest, actually, most people. most people don't get like this is what one channel where I have seen YouTube channels where if you disagree with people, they just time you out. But I would say for me, like if you disagree with me, please, like that obviously don't post things saying I'm an idiot because that's not really conducive to conversation. But you know, if you have different views, just get them in because it makes the stream more fun. I mean, if you're a rival fan, equally as good as well. So you've been banned on Liverpool and Arsenal channels. Anyone I know, Debasis. I know a few that yeah, sometimes they're a bit volatile, particularly Arsenal channels. I think they're definitely on the what's the word? On the fringes of reality sometimes as well. Cake, yeah, cake. Cake. We disagree about probably like most things, but again, it doesn't matter. You're saying you want to sell Bruno, play Cunha in the 10, and most people think I'm mad. To be honest, what I would say is I've always said this about Bruno, and I'm going to agree with you slightly on this one. Is at some point Bruno Fernandes won't be able to play every single match, will be injured, or potentially, you know, maybe will be like sold, or maybe rested. Like maybe you actually get some rest. And you've got to look at options, haven't you? Mason Mount's not an option for me. And maybe, you know, I have seen like people talking about, I think it was like, did Lacey play in the 10 in the preseason match? But put like, why not put someone like Cunha there? Cunha for me, I think Cunha's got an eye for a pass. He's very good at holding the ball up, like something that you need in that position as well. He's also good defensively. If Cunha loses the ball in an attacking position, it's going to be your first line of defense. He's going to get the ball back, but also he's got a significant goal threat, a good finish. I would say for me, I wouldn't mind when people talk about Morgan Rogers as playing in that position. I think Cunha could get you more goals and be actually better off the ball as well than Rogers. So I think Cunha. I don't mind that cake. I don't mind it. I would say get Cunha in the team, see what happens. Like why not see what happens as well? And for me, it would be an interesting one to see. Yeah, the cake's always like, so you use a burner on paddock. Paddock, I don't have burners. I do have like a backup channel for different topics, but so about Bruno, I think Cake is like talking about for me, it would be experimental. But I think Bruno Fernandes can't play like 60 games, can he, at his best? So I would say for me, that's actually, you ready to move Bruno on? Age is irrelevant, isn't it? Like 31 years old. I remember having a conversation. I was at Old Trafford with, I'm trying to think, it might be my parents at Old Trafford, and it was probably when it might have been when Man United got the title back from Chelsea, and I can't remember exactly how old, but it might have been along the lines of like, you know, you got Giggs and Scholes, they're both in their 30s. And I was having the same conversation thinking, you know, Scholes is like 33, Giggs is 34, you know, we're gonna have to move these guys on. And we still got titles out of them. So Bruno Fernandes at 31 might be equivalent to other players at 26, 27. So Bruno Fernandes, I don't think he's going to be, I don't think he's going to suddenly be unproductive, but maybe, you know, maybe over the next year or so with Bruno Fernandes, you just need to get someone else that can do what Bruno does if Bruno's not available. Like we shouldn't be reliant on Bruno Fernandes every single match, but you know, certainly for the majority of matches he'll play. But I would love to get I would love to get like a if you think there's a player out there that can replace Bruno, like get them into Man United squad before Bruno leaves. Like that's what I'm asking. Get a bit of overlap because if Bruno misses a couple of games, then we're gonna have to like you know maybe deal with Mason Mount or maybe we'll see like Cake wants and we'll see Cunha. But either way, there's some good options there. So if anyone's got any final questions before we head off, there's going to be a big stream tonight, 7:30. So actually, no, 9:30. Sorry, 9:30 tonight. When the game finishes, we're going to be there live calling show as well. Um, so pure spin and hype looks at too many stuff. Who's talking about too many? I think too many was yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? And if Bruno gets injured, Tielemans would have to play his position. We desperately need another centre midfielder or attacking centre midfielder. It could be. Maybe we're going to see something different. Or say this as well. Obviously, we can't wait to beat Leeds, and no, I spoke to a Leeds fan earlier today, all boxed up. Hopefully, they come in the chat if we beat Leeds and discuss it. But no, myself, Helgi, and another special guest will be hosting the call-in show. So 9:30, there's going to be hopefully a lot of people coming on. I keep mentioning it every sort of 10 minutes. If you want to come on, all you got to do is like, if you don't have a mic, it's fine. If you don't want the camera on, it's fine. But just if you've got a phone, you can tune in. You can call in. Just like I suppose, just speak loud and clearly, and we'll be able to hear you fine. But we're trying to get more people involved in the calling shows just to get different views as well. Oh yeah, yeah. Big up to you all, boxed up. As a Leeds fan, respect for getting in the comments as well. And but it's Leeds. It's Leeds. It's Leeds. We've got to beat Leeds, haven't we? Like, yeah, Tyrone, are you going to join us tonight, Tyrone? G Wolf is on holiday. G Wolf's unfortunately, G Wolf's like on a boat like Rashford at this point in time. I don't know. Honestly, I don't actually know what G Wolf's doing. I don't even know if G Wolf's in the country. I might message him and see, but I think G Wolf is somewhere enjoying the sunshine, just enjoying life at the moment, resting, ready to come back when well, in a couple of weeks. So actually maybe in like 10 days as well. Yeah, just no, you don't need your camera on, but you need to speak clearly and you need to be fully clothed if your camera's on. That's the only criteria. We don't ask for too much on this one as well. Yeah, maybe Kate can get more motivated at some point as well. And yeah, Cake, maybe you should come on, Cake. Like if you got some negative things to say, come and say them like Cake. It might make you feel a bit better. Sometimes it's like a therapy session. So yeah, get them in. Yeah. I know. That's one of the reasons, though, isn't it? Okay, if Man United win tonight, just come on the show. Like, come people want to see you on. Like, we had Jules come on, Jules' son come on. We had United Side come on. We've had Jeff might come on, Tyrone might come on. Like, just come on. There's always something to talk about. Always. Just put it this way, like put a cake emoji in the chat if you want Cake to come on. Like if you want, or just like type Cake in the chat. If you want Cake to come on tonight, just like Cake. People, I think people want to see you on there. If you want to see Cake Cadet come on the channel, let me know. I just want to see Cake Cadet. Like just have your say, Cake. That's all we want to see. Like it'd be good. I think people would like it, Cake, and you might enjoy it as well. Kate, uh, Cake. There, this guy. Get him on. Get him on. Yeah, there will definitely be definitely none of that. Yeah, calling shows are quite risky, but we'll just be getting on people we know and we trust from the comments. So there's a lot of people we know that can come on. So I know there's a bit of risk, but the idea with the calling show is that people can come on that we know, and there still could be like 10 to 15 people that are regular kind of people in the comments that come on. Like for example, like Bilal's come on, Unite So Dies come on, Jeff's come on, Tommy came on, and Jules and his son, that's like six. Tyrone can come on, like Cake can come on. Berber's been on before. That's like nine people. And also there's a couple of other people that haven't been on for a little while, but they can come on. So again, if like 5 or 6 people come on, it'd be brilliant. Get your views. Then yeah, go big up to you, Tyrone. Yeah. Just get yourself on, Cake. Use your voice. That's what I say is that it can be frustrating in the comments section. So, and I've watched other channels as well where you type in your comments and it's difficult because there's lots of comments and people are going to be just like using other people's comments as well. But it gives you an opportunity, Kate. If you don't want to come on, then that's absolutely fine. But it would just be nice to get you on as well. Exactly. Don't be a flake cake. There you go. That's the take home message. But everybody else, thank you for watching the channel today. Really appreciate it. And the streaming is fun, and talking about this is It's good. Come on, Cake. It's by popular demand. It's by popular demand. Yeah, 10. That's absolutely fine, Bilal. That's fine. That's fine. Because I think the stream will start about 9:30 anyway, and it's not going to be a particularly long one. Cake, by popular demand, people just want you. Give the people what they want. That's what they want. But no, thanks everybody for watching. Maybe you're boxed up. I don't know if you want to come on, but if you want to come on, you're more than welcome. But yeah, also is that thank you for watching the channel. We got past 900 subscribers recently, which is a testament to myself, Jules, other guests, other hosts, people in the comments, people that subscribe, people that share, and moderators, everybody else, etc., etc. Thanks for supporting the channel. It's always appreciated. And we're going to hit 1K hopefully as soon as possible. And hopefully we'll keep growing the channel like Red Devil United and open it up more. Next season, I'm quite excited about. I think we're going to be getting some new guest hosts and some more guests on the channel as well. So, yeah. Cake, you can ask that question to everybody else tonight. Exactly. Everybody like got opportunity in the chat, and it's always great to get you guys on. Well, 9:30 tonight. I'll schedule it now, and we'll see you then. Hopefully. Until then, have a great rest of your day, guys.